Good morning, boys and girls. I don't got to tell you my name, but I will anyway. My name is Jeffery Scott Mitchell. I was born in Pennsylvania. I was raised in Youngstown, Ohio. I did 2 years technical school in Columbus, Ohio, and then I moved to Pasadena, California in 1983. Been in California ever since. I was thinking the other day, yesterday, when I was walking, that I made it. I came out here and I made it. It had always been my dream to be in California, the big city life. California was the biggest and the most magnificent place to me. The idea of Los Angeles and Hollywood, the whole thing. I was never, ever, oh boy, this thing is going to keep beeping and beeping and beeping. I'm going to pause it just for kicks. Oh, now I see. Now I see. Now I see what I didn't see before. I see my recording time. I see where it paused. I see the CPU. And I see, okay, I got it. That helped. That helped. Anyway, I'm defrosting ham. I don't have any meat for lunch or breakfast. Today is Wednesday. I'm off tomorrow. Juneteenth was declared a holiday, paid holiday for our offices in the United States. A friend of mine from way back in probably elementary school, no, middle school, 5th grade, elementary school, texted in Virginia. They made it a state holiday, Juneteenth. I don't want to go into to that part of it yet, but since I'm here, has any people have I don't want to sound like Candace Owens. I don't want to take that her idea of have any people when I talk about black people. It does. I don't like the way I present that argument, but because it seems like it's open for easily taking ridicule shots and dismantling the argument, or better yet, not hearing the argument. What's happening nowadays, people will label you a contrarian or a joker or stop acting up or stop being silly, and they don't have to answer your question. They feel they don't have to answer your question. Or I think a lot of people are in the bubble, so deeply in the bubble, that there's certain things that they don't like. Like my number one, who is they? When they say they, when people say they, who are they talking about? Who exactly is they? Who is the they that wants us to divide us and conquer us? They'll say it's the rich people, it's the 1%, the people who are truly behind all this. And I probably said this in another video, but I want to know the definition of they so I can understand if I think it is practical for they to do all this stuff. If you're already in control and you got this and got that, why do you want to divide us and conquer us? What's the point? What's the point? But anyway, so people label me a joker, he's a contrarian, he's going to do this, he's going to do that, and they don't have to hear my argument. The devil himself can make a statement, and regardless of how much evil he has thrown down through the eons of time, that statement must stand on its own. The validity and accuracy and understanding and intention of that statement must, well, not the intention, maybe, not the intention. The validity, accuracy, and how correct and aligned with reality that statement is must stand on its own, regardless of who said it, why they said it, when they said it, or how they said it. I understand, and I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for a long time. I know exactly what I'm doing. When people say something, and you can tell they're speaking to the bubble, to the people within their bubble who are going to get it and not even question it. I like finding that very simple soundbite, like 4-letter question. Well, what about the? Or a little interjection, a benign declaration of something that hits what they say and presents a narrative that they must think about and factor into their whole argument or statement or presentation. And when I do that, I understand I'm good at it. So it's going to take people a little bit of a paragraph or two, or maybe even a long essay to explain it. And it's easier just to say, I can't. You could be on your phone or you just don't feel like typing it out. Because the complex, even though it seems like I'm fucking with you, and I just might be, but I'm not doing it like a third grader. I know what I'm doing. If I make a post or a retort to something you said, believe me, there's something behind it. And believe me, I believe in what I said, and I'm not just fucking with you. And believe me, I believe that I hit something depending on your response. Now, sometimes I'll get responses back that people will get it, and I can see by how much effort or how much extent they put into the response that they understood where I was going with that. And they take the time to explain it. Nowadays, people aren't doing that. And we need to have everybody at the table. We need to have Killer Mike, Candace Owens, Steve Bannon, Larry Elder, Rachel Maddow, Don Lemon, Cuomo, whichever one, Cornel West, all of them. We all need to be at the table, and we all need to hear each other speak. I'm talking about, I put those figurehead people, or the people that we can all, and that's another good thing. Dave Chappelle said, why do you want to hear what a comedian has to say? In his 8-minute and 46 second thing on Netflix. He said, why do you want to have to say? Why do we want to hear what he has to say? I'd like to hear what these people have to say for a few reasons. One is to bounce their argument off of what I think. I want to hear what their argument is. They'll present the data, and they'll present their interpretation of the data, and they'll present what they think the data means or should mean or should be. I like to hear that, so that I can look at it, say, do I agree with it, not agree with it, bounce it off what I feel, develop it, or just, say, oh, that's just crazy, or even try to understand why they would say something crazy, or why would they do that. I like to hear that. Because if you just this is face it, if you're just presented with the facts, and you have to make up your own interpretation, it is fucking hard. It is very, very hard, but it's so much easier to put on CNN and hear Don Lemon with his emboldened, not egotistical, he's just feeling it. He's a star right now, and he is feeling it, and I don't blame him. He's on fire right now. He's hot. He's starting to get more and more into it, more and more expressive, more and more demonstrative on how he feels. That's why I watch him. I like to hear his interpretation, his angle on the fact or the data or the experience, the video, whatever video. The video stands on its own. But I want to hear his interpretation so I can bounce off of it. Then I go to Fox News and I listen to see what Tucker Carlson has to say. And Sean Hannity. And then I go to MSNBC and I keep going because that's just too much. MSNBC is just too much. MSNBC is just too much. But anyway, the point is, that is why I would like to hear what Chappelle. That's one reason why I would like to hear Chappelle and people who are prominent say. And Candace Owens and whoever, and Obama and, Michelle and Biden and Trump. Because their argument is put out there. Or their statement is put out there. And since it's out there, millions of us can look at that statement and get an interpretation from it. So I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I can just take what they said. I can bounce off what they said and don't have to explain the whole situation all over again. Or I can say, oh, I like what so-and-so said. And I don't have to go through and explain the whole thing, even though I do. Even though for me, it's a practice for me to do that, to actually reword it so that I can better understand it and have it in my own words, whether it's written or on this video here. I like to do that myself. I just like to do that. But it's easier for me to say, hey, what Killer Mike said. Or, hey, what Chappelle said. And that way I don't have to explain it to hundreds of people what I meant or my intention. It's a quick way to get that bulk of information out there. But the point is, to me, the protests and the awareness is based in emotion and reaction. And that's where it starts. And that's the only thing it can do. It can only start the fire. What it's gonna burn, it is depending. It's up to us, and that's a bad analogy. It only sparked the discussion. It only sparked the awareness. That's all it can do. It can't go any farther. Because as in the there's no, you can't have demands. You can't have anything you can negotiate. You can't really have understanding. You brought awareness, and the whole fucking world right now is aware. Which brings me to my other point. As any other race of people has so much attention focused on their plight? No, impossible, because I think somebody said the other day that the protests right now are the largest in history of mankind. No other situation has been protested to this level. I mean, worldwide in the numbers. It could be partly because of the pandemic. We ain't got nothing else to do. And especially kids graduating, they don't even have graduation to go to now, so they can go out and protest. But has any race ever had that? And people, listen to me. I'm not saying black people don't deserve it. I'm not getting on black people. I'm not putting black people down. I just asked a question. Okay, even if there were further intention in my question, you can't imply that until I make it. I just asked a question. Has any other race had this much focus or this much attention put on their plight? The whole fucking world is aware of this now, but they just aware. That's as far as it can go. They're just aware. Now okay, that what I just said, has any other race or people have this much attention placed on their plight? Maybe the Jews from the whole Nazi thing in concentration camps. That was serious. That was something serious. But then they didn't have internet and numbers of people. So I mean, because the scale has gotten bigger, the numbers have gotten bigger. Even the Indians, they wiped out almost a whole race of people off the continent. They not getting this much attention. But, and maybe because the civil rights movement came up in the era of television, when television first came up in mass media. But, and from that, I got to make the statement, how can racism, let me get this. Racism exists. To me, racism exists. It's always going to exist. Inherent, not knowing it. Black people racist. Everybody's racist. Everybody's just racist. It's just going to be there. Somebody pointed out that racism is when you use racial criteria to subjugate somebody or to make laws to promote or to hinder someone. I get that. That's a law. That's tangible. You could put your hand. You could write that down and touch that. If you use anything racial, to hold down a group or something, that's racism. That is tangible. You can actually go to court and fight that, and that is something you can touch and feel, other than a feeling or an emotion, or I feel like I'm this. I feel like I'm attacked, or no. That you can actually legislate, and that needs to be, I can't even say eliminated because you never will. I mean, people are going to be biased. I mean, people are going to be biased. We're human. In fact, we better stay biased. We better not be all homogeneous to where we're all, oh God, no, please. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want us to all be all together in the same. I don't want that. I want us to be different as fuck. I want to look at a white person and go, or look at an Asian person and go, or look at a Mexican person and go, ooh. Did I miss anybody? Egyptian, they're different. I went to Egypt. I'm telling you, Egyptian people ain't white or black. They something else. Arab, whatever, Muslim. I want to look at them and go, ooh, oh. But that's where, and then there's where the line is drawn. From being racial to racism. I don't really care what the people are. There's some things I like about certain groups and some things about certain groups to get on my nerves. That's not going away. That's not going away. Some people just talk funny. I'm probably not even allowed to say that, but some people to me just talk funny, and it irritates me. The cadence and the style and the dialect, it irritates me. But do I hate them for it? No. In fact, where I'm at right now, things are so good that I even enjoy the things I don't like, and I need them. I need the things that bug me and irritate me and annoy me in my life. It can't be all smooth sailing for me. It's just not enough. That's why I think heaven doesn't work. But back to my point, I don't think you're going to ever get rid of that racist racial component in life, and we shouldn't. We should all be recognized as being different. Stereotypes to a certain point, if we take them lightly. I mean, all black people like this, white people do that. You get your Karens. So you can make fun about the Karens, but turn around and make a joke about Shaniqua. See, black people can make a joke about Karens, but white people better not make a joke about Shaniqua. And this white privilege thing, that silence is violence. Well, the whole point is this. Again, there's a lot of attention being focused on the issue. And for people to say things haven't changed, I think is totally incorrect if you look at what's going on today. If things haven't changed, it's still the same. No, things have gotten a lot better. I think white people are bending over backwards to help or correct the situation to the point that where there's going to be backlash. There is definitely going to be backlash because there's people in the country who do not like what's going on. They feel attacked. In the video yesterday, I said white homosexual males. I meant white heterosexual males are almost banned. Testosterone is banned. That's what it is. Testosterone is banned. Forget it. Aggressiveness, bullying, anything along a strong line, unless it's a female, unless it's a white female, kickboxing or kicking butt, it's okay. But you can't show a male doing that. Maybe a black male, but you can't show a white male kicking butt. That's going to have backlash. And there are some people out there who are conservative by nature and don't like all that attention. They don't want all that attention focused on them or what they do. And I wonder how my father would feel with all this attention being focused on black people. He wasn't an attention person. He just wasn't an attention person. You handle your own, and he just was not an attention. Get that attention or make that fuss or whatever. He just wasn't that person, and I get it. It took me a long time to figure it out. But there are people like that who just don't want to be bothered by being in the spotlight or the attention or whatever, the focus. Right now, the whole fucking world is focused on this, and there will be repercussions for that. One way or the other, either good or bad. It's too much. Juneteenth is a holiday all of a sudden. There's reactions. You walk down the street, you got all kinds of white people putting Black Lives Matter signs in their yard. Do they really know what that means? Or are they just on the compassion trip or the passion, or do they feel the empathy? They saw the video and they feel empathy and they just want to be a part of it. And they truly, and I'm not saying they're just not doing this out of a knee-jerk reaction, they truly have sympathy and empathy and they truly feel the pain. And I think a lot of them, unfortunately, truly feel responsible. All this from the whole world is coming down, focused at black people or focused at this situation. Colin Kaepernick, everybody, all of a sudden, it's just, there's going to be a reaction. There's going to be somebody who rises up and say, "Oh, we don't like this," and that's the way it's supposed to be. That's just nature. That's the human nature. But my thing is, I forgot what my thing is, but I made my points. So now I can't figure out what the thing was, even though I made the points. Okay, I did what? See, now I can see how much time I did. 19 minutes and 7 seconds. So I said what I had to say, and that's what this is all about. And the reason I cut this on was because one of the reasons yesterday, I replied to a comment that somebody commented to me. I bounce off people. I like to bounce off people. That's why I think we need everybody at the table. All the discussions, from Al Sharpton to who else? Mitch McConnell, everybody. We need Pelosi. We need all of them. We need everybody at the table, to talk so that we can bounce ideas off. Because sometimes I post stuff on Facebook just to see the responses. And from that response, I'm triggered into something new. I'm bounced into a new way of thinking, a new way of seeing it that I like that helps me explain what I'm trying to say better that I probably wouldn't have gotten to without somebody firing back an argument or firing back a point to me. Anyway, my name is Jeffery Scott Mitchell, swinging on y'all 2 times. Doing what we do, people. In the age of racism and COVID and George Floyd and police brutality, again, the conversation has got to be nuanced. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. And to put it, what I got from yesterday's response from somebody else's, what I was triggered into thinking from yesterday's response from somebody was that, to put it crudely, and I'm not talking about any particular situation. You see how you got to disavow yourself, how you got to like lay the groundwork before you say anything. I'm not talking about any situation, particular situation or event. What I'm saying is, it's difficult to criticize the victim. It's difficult to criticize or to evaluate or summarize what the victim should have done or could have done, or better yet, could have done. It's hard. It's not hard for me. It's hard for other people. It's hard when you're emotional and you see bad things happen and the emotion is still raw. But the conversation has got to be had. For this situation to get fixed, police brutality can go away. All racism can go away. Black people still gonna have a problem because both sides need to adjust. Everybody needs to adjust, even me, for Christ's sakes. Kinda, sorta, maybe. Okay, not. I'm perfect. Everybody's perfect. See, that's the whole thing. Everybody's perfect. Everybody's doing what they're doing. In the long run, everybody's perfect. We all doing what we're doing, and what it is, and that's perfect. But yeah, we all got to sit down, and for me, and I believe Candace Owens in particular right now, helps to helps to criticize black people. And they need to be criticized. Somebody needs to criticize black people and say, hey, we need to do better. Black people can't be perfect in this. I mean, there's things that we need to do and things that we need to be adjusted. Oh, I know we do. We know we do. But the policeman, oh, I know we need to change. I know we need to change. But Whitey, no. There's some things we need to do. We need to be discussed. And it needs to come from inside. It needs to come within the black community. The black community needs to take responsibility for the black community and fix that part. And I'm not even talking about the murders in Chicago. That's way up here. I'm just talking about down at the lower level. And one of the first things I think that black people could do in this situation is to make sure your kids know their ABCs and numbers up to 100 before they go to kindergarten. If not, read. Simple steps like that. When your kids go to kindergarten, they should know their ABCs. If not able to read, know animals and know this and know that. Be able to communicate what they want or need, point things out, and count. Maybe even add. Anything you can do for your child before they get to kindergarten helps. And I think at least this should be like a minimum. At least know your ABCs and count to 100. Minimum. That's things like that should start in the black community. I'm not saying the black community is not doing it, and I'm not saying that we are. I'm just saying that's an idea of what should happen, because education is the key. And I bet the people and the kids who had that going into kindergarten are successful now and assimilated and getting along pretty well in school and not having problems with the system, and grow up to go to college and get good jobs and get to work from home and travel the world and see P-Funk and do what they do at 10:55 in the morning on a Wednesday. Anyway, my name is Jeffery Scott Mitchell, swinging on y'all 2 times as always. As always. We got to do this, people. And the conversation is going to be hard. The conversation is going to be hard, people. It's going to be hard, but we got to do it.